he is the game plan. Some say they're the system, he is the game plan. And
Luka Magic has been on a tear this season. 8 40-point games, 23 30-point games, along with 28 double-doubles and 9 triple-doubles. And the funny thing is, there is still half a season left to be played. At this point of his career, Luka is already shattering a ton of scoring records, with many more to come in the following seasons, or who knows, possibly in the next couple of weeks or even days. No question, we can argue that Luka is playing on a GOAT level right now, and according to advanced stats, he's only one of 2 players in NBA history to have multiple 60-point games before the age of 25. And I'm pretty sure that you already have an idea who the other guy is. In line with the GOAT conversation, Jason Kidd believes that, despite his young age and not winning a championship, Luka is already up there with the pound-for-pound greats, and I quote, "You can't take this young man for granted. He's better than Dirk. He's in the atmosphere of MJ, the best to ever do it. LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and so. Just to appreciate what this young man's doing at the age of 24 is something that Dallas has never seen." Anyway, from a team standpoint, the Mavs are now intensely fighting for a playoff and play-in spot in the tough Western Conference, with a 29-23 record. Although this is the case, they are really not that far behind, as they're just 2 games back from the 5th seed. So, there's a big chance for the Mavs to climb up the ranks quickly if they manage to pile up a bunch of wins. The retooling that the Mavs did this offseason, like the key addition of Derek Lively II to be Luka's main pick-and-roll partner, has definitely made Luka more lethal to some extent, by allowing him to have more passing options. It's also elevated the Mavs' offense overall to a whole other level. Throughout the past seasons, the Mavs never really had a rim-rolling big to support Luka. But that's not the case anymore with the arrival of Lively. See, here's a perfect play how Lively transformed the dynamics of the Mavs offense. Luka comes off a double staggered screen here, which turned into a dribble handoff. Green's defender tails Luka from behind, while Banchero and Isaac are getting ready to defend as soon as Luka turns the corner. Lively then slips inside, and this leaves Banchero on a tough spot on whether he's going to cover the corner man or stick with the rolling Lively. In the end, Banchero made the wrong gamble, and Luka made him pay for it, as he easily lobbed it into the open big guy underneath. It's always gonna be a pick-your-poison kind of thing when regarding Luka in this type of situation, because he can either hit both the shooters and the roll man with his godlike playmaking ability and split-second decision-making, the moment he sees even just a small lapse in the opposing team's defense. And speaking of the shooters, the Mavs supporting cast are also stepping big time this season. Exum, Josh Green, Jaden Hardy, and Maxi Kleber are all shooting above 35% from distance right now. And as a team, the Mavs are number 2 in the league right now in 3-pointers made and 3-pointers attempted. Now, with this supporting cast all set, Kyrie Irving has got to be the guy that will complete the final piece of the puzzle. And so far, his partnership with Luka looks just fine as he thrives as an off-ball scorer, while Luka handles the point guard duties. The Mavs are surrounding Luka with the best talent available while he's at the peak of his powers. And more recently, they upgraded their roster once again by trading Grant Williams for PJ Washington, and also acquiring Daniel Gafford from the Wizards before the trade deadline. Both Washington and Gafford are excellent additions to the Mavs, as it adds more depth in their front court. Although they're not as efficient as Grant Williams from range, Washington and Gafford on the other hand are both extremely athletic players that can serve as alternative pick-and-roll partners to Luka, who can also clean the glass and, most importantly, play solid D in the interior, unlike Williams, who frequently got exposed defensively due to his lack of size. Anyway, as Jay Kidd said earlier, Luka is the game plan. The entire Mavs' offense starts and ends with him. Now, let's break down the game that the entire world is talking about. Against the team that officially drafted him, Luka Magic simply walked all over them and dropped the single greatest scoring performance in this generation by destroying the Hawks with 73 points. And it's not only about the number of buckets he put up, but also about how efficient he was. He shot 75% from the field and 61.5% from 3, missing only 8 shots out of 33 attempts while knocking down 8 triples. The scoring onslaught that Luka unleashed was the most efficient 70-point game ever recorded in the history of basketball. Luka delivered a masterclass versus the Hawks, and it didn't matter who they put against him, cause they were all getting cooked like barbecue chicken left and right. I mean, they put the athletic 6'8" Jalen Johnson on him in the early parts of the game. But look here, Luka just put him on his hip and had a layup drill as if his defense never existed. On ball screen actions, Luka just toyed with him, and in this one, he just gave him a little fake jab step before firing an effortless spot-up jumper. But this one has gotta be the most embarrassing for Johnson. So Luka steps on the gas here, and as soon as he nears the rim, he stops on a dime, fakes, and even waits for Johnson to contest, as if he wants somebody to challenge his shot. When the Hawks noticed that Johnson was getting destroyed, they switched things up by sending bigs to guard Luka like Okongwu and Capella, but turns out the results were pretty much the same. Here on the switch, he just took advantage of Okongwu's slow reaction, who was in drop coverage. Then all he needed was one dribble and a long step back to make Okongwu pay. Now here, against the much taller Capella, Luka uses his speed and attacks the lane. He then blitzes a no-look dime to the corner when he notices that Capella is on his tail. And with the big guy late on the closeout, Luka rang the bell yet again. The Hawks' wings and bigs can't keep up with Luka magic, and so they turn to their guards in the hopes of neutralizing this one-man wrecking crew, once and for all. But even if it was against Sadiq Bey
15, Luka probing, drifting back to the baseline, yeah baby!
Or the one-time all-defensive team member DeJounte Murray,
It's tangled up.
no one from the Hawks were able to stop the avalanche of buckets that Luka rained down on that night. Like a surgeon with a sharp scalpel in his hand, Luka just methodically dissected the Hawks' defense and just obliterated all white shirts that were thrown in front of him, whether it was against lengthy wing defenders, switchable bigs, and quicker combo guards. With his 73-point outing, it boosted his total point average this season to 34.5, which is his new career high. And on top of that, he also set a new career high in assists, minutes, three-point percentage, effective field goal percentage, and free throw percentage this season. This season, Luka switched another gear for sure. With a healthy Kyrie Irving backing him up, and his supporting cast hitting their shots, we might just witness a totally different Mavs team in the postseason, with an MVP Luka Doncic leading the way. And who knows, they might just go on a deep run while beating a bunch of heavy favorites along the way in the West. Anyway, what do you think of Luka's performance this season? And do you think that the Mavs can finally get over the hump this season with the pieces they have right now? And lastly, is he now eligible to enter into the GOAT conversation at this point of his career? Be sure to let me know your thoughts on this by dropping your comments below. And until then, see you in the next video.